Hello and welcome to another episode of Game Theory, the #1 MMA DFS prep show in all of the land. I am your host, M.O.N.K, aka the Monkmatician. In this very episode, guys and girls, we're going to be breaking down all 13 fights, UFC Vegas 70 from a DraftKings perspective, headlined by Ryan Spann, Nikita Krylov. We have the return of Tatiana Suarez, and a few other really interesting fights, several newcomers on this card that you have to be wary of. I'm going to try to give you as much DraftKings information as humanly possible in the next 40 minutes or so. Before we get into it, guys, check out dfsarmy.com. Use code MONK, save yourself 10%, some amount of money. I forget what it is. Save yourself some money on a subscription VIP package today. Football is over, but we just started NASCAR back up, guys. There's so many sports going on. Basketball still going on. You can make money at other sports. Get over to dfsarmy.com and start winning today. Again, use code MONK, M-O-N-K. Save yourself some money on a package. Let's get right into it, guys. First fight of the night, Garrett Armfield going against newcomer Jose Johnson, coming off a Dana White Contender Series fight, in which he looked really, really good. 15-minute decision, but he would have scored over 4.5 points per minute and 98 per win. My cursor here, so some very, very good numbers there. Garrett Armfield is coming off his one UFC loss to David Onama, I believe, in which he scored 1.63 points per minute and gave up almost 100 points at the $6,900 price point. So we're up at 8,500 for Armfield now. I really don't see why. I like Jose Johnson here. We're going to have to see what Garrett Armfield can actually do before we roster him in any kind of major tournaments. I mean, giving up, 1.8 points per minute in takedowns and control time. Jose Johnson did give up a ton as well in that first Dana White Contender Series fight. Let's see, he did get taken down 6 times. So this is possibly a path for Garrett Armfield, but Armfield was taken down twice by Onama. Nobody's landing takedowns. Well, Jose Johnson did land one takedown in the decision win. Man, this was a really close fight against Jack Cartwright, in which he got the decision his way. Let's see, ass whoop index of negative 3.8, meaning according to the stats, he lost that fight. So, but yeah, Jose Johnson, 6 feet tall, looking pretty good here against Armfield, who's coming back down to bantamweight, his natural weight class. I'm going with Jose Johnson. I got to pick a few newcomers here, and I love the $7,700 salary. So let's go with that. Next pick, Aileen Perez going against Haley Cowan. I have no idea what to do here. This is probably a stay away fight. These women average just about 2 points per minute so far in their UFC career. Cowan, obviously, I'm talking about her Dana White Contender Series fight. Perez gave up almost 4 a minute to Stephanie Egger, who she did lose to. She got subbed at the $6,900 price point. And again, I guess she's not a favorite. We are paying up $700 from previous salary in which she got her ass whooped. I don't know how much I trust Haley Cowan. You're gonna have to do your fight tape on this one. I'm gonna stay away. According to stats, she would have scored 61 points, not even 61 points. Her Dana White Contender Series fight, 15-minute decision. Perez is the one that's all over Twitter, always talking about how she caught the L against Egger, and then just went on Twitter talking about how she could beat anyone in the world and she should be fighting for a title. And yeah, doesn't make much sense when you're out here losing Stephanie Egger to talk about wanting a title shot, but to each their own. This is a pick 'em for me. I'll probably pick Cohen, I guess. I don't know. I'm not planning on rostering either of these women as far as DraftKings goes. Do your fight tape on this one, guy. Next fight, Rafael Alves. Looking forward to his fight here as he's coming off. He's 1-2 in his last 5. Sorry, 3-2. Why do I? Oh, professionally, he's 3-2. Losses to Ismagulov and Drew Dober against newcomer Brulo Aliev, the Tajik Eagle. This guy's a wrestle heavy guy from Tajikistan, I believe. Hence his nickname, the Tajik Eagle. If you put DraftKings scoring on his DWCS fight, guy would have scored 5.78 points per minute and 116 in his first round submission, KO TKO victory over, not to be Josh Wick, not to be confused with John Wick. Josh Wick was a very significant underdog and showed why. Um, I like Rafael Alves here, but he for DraftKings not very good. 1.83 points per minute, 92 is what he scored in his lone win against Mark Casey. Gives up 3.5 a minute, 86 is what he's giving up on average per loss. I'm gonna go with another newcomer here, guys. I know I'm picking basically two, three newcomers right off the bat, it seems like, but there's 7 of them on this card. So 2 or 3 is right in line with the trend as far as what percentage of newcomers win their first UFC fight. So we'll have to see. Hopefully, I'm not picking a ton of newcomers in this one, but there are a ton to go over. 8,800 is a bit expensive, but honestly, the $8,800 salary has been on fire so far this year. Sergey Spivak made it. I think it's made it 3 or 4 weeks in a row. Spivak, who was it last week? I can't remember. Do we want to look? Let's just look real. Felipe Lins made it. Klidson Rodriguez put up like 130 something. Sergey Spivak put up 130 something. So yeah, 3 times in a row, guys. Can we make it 4 with a tremendous take? And there's a sneak peek at M.O.N.K's picks, by the way. Can we make it 4 times in a row with the tremendous takedown ability of Nurullo Aliev? Alves is giving up 0.85 points per minute in takedowns and control time, prefers fights to be standing, so he will probably be challenged in that department this week. Alves has a tremendously good strength of schedule. You want to see this above 70. It's almost 80 in every single category. Nurullo on the other side is about 10, 12 points below that. Here are my projections. Obviously, much higher for the newcomer, but we have less data as well to go off of. So those numbers are a bit more volatile. Me, I'm picking Nurullo. I think Nurullo, he's not from Mexico. It's probably not Nurullo. Nurullo Aliev, 8,800. I like that spot a lot this week. Not sure if I'm going to get to much Alves at all. Ryan Spann's $100 more. Love the upside of Ryan Spann a lot compared to Alves. So probably be looking at spots like that instead. Next fight. Joe Solecki against Carl Deaton III. I'm interested in Solecki, but he is a bit expensive. 620 over his average salary. His numbers are tremendous, guys. 3.74 points a minute, 91 per win over his last 4. It's not great for GPPs, but this could be ridiculously good cash play going against the newcomer, Carl Deaton. Debuting fighters, like I said, make optimal lineup 41% of the time. I like Jose Johnson, maybe Haley, and I really like Nurullo. I'm not sure if I'm going to get too much deep this week at all. Only problem with Solecki is he's not a good DraftKings score. His average value per win, guys, like I said, his points per win is over 90, which is okay. Average value per win is 7.98. Average optimal value is 13. So we're not even close for Joe Solecki. He's not even 10xing his score. So like I said, maybe focus on this one for cash. But as far as GPPs, unless he's going to come out here and sub Deaton in like the first minute, I mean, maybe he's just going to roll over Deaton, pun intended, and get an early win. So I'll have a bit of Solecki, but probably not a ton. I'd be looking at Tatiana Suarez, $200 more, completely honest. But Solecki scoring 1.78 points per minute, takedowns and control time, plus 2 points a minute in striking. So he's a tremendous DraftKings score per minute. Very good minute winner, as they say. His stats for this fight are very good. Has fought 75% of his fight time inside the distance, and he's controlled 75% of all that grappling time. So rank the schedule over 70, what we want to see. Majority decision win over Alex da Silva. Lost to Jared Gordon, who has cardio for days, but then he's beat Jim Miller, Austin Hubbard, Matt Wyman. So a decent, okay strength of schedule. Carl Deaton's in the 50s, strength of victories in the 30s. Not exactly what we're looking for here. I don't really see Deaton getting it done over Solecki. I think this is could be a possible smash spot. I think it's a great cash play. I will be limited on my GPPs to him. Like I said, I prefer Tatiana. I might have her in almost every single lineup. I know she's 9,600, but man, she really has the opportunity to absolutely gel in Almeida, Montana De La Rosa. I like Solecki. I like him for the win. Not sure how much I'm going to get to him in GPPs. His salary of 9,400 wins at an 83% rate. Takes optimal 35% of the time. So maybe he does get it done over Deaton after a couple of not great showings from Solecki. Maybe he, really gets it done here, puts up a decent score. but still 13x of 9,400 is 125. That's going to be tough for me to get to. Very, very tough. I doubt. I mean, last week we only had 2 people on the optimal lineup that were over 100. I don't really see that happening 2 weeks in a row. Next fight, Osbourne going against Charles Energy Johnson. I mean, we're going nicknames here. I'm taking the Jamaican sensation. I actually don't mind him in DraftKings either. A very low score this week, 7,200 compared to the 9K of Charles Johnson, who's almost $900 over his average salary. Meanwhile, Osbourne, 1,000, almost 1,100 under his average. He's the better DraftKings scorer, 3.21 points a minute, almost 100 per win over his last 3. And in his career, we're at the same number there. So he's given up 3.5 a minute, 106 when he loses. So that is not ideal, but it's much better than Johnson, who's scoring less than 3 a minute, 98 per win, gives up 4.5 points per minute, and 119.92 in his lone loss. I believe that was to M.O.N.K, who's the best DraftKings scorer in all of 2022 at the flyweight division. So that's not really anything to be too upset about. And he looked decent. He survived against Makayev there, so Makayev just scored 1,000,000 points on him is all. So yeah, a lot of points possible in this fight. But the DraftKings, straight up DraftKings stats favor Osbourne, almost 12, 11.78 value per win. We've got an 11.1 value per win for Johnson. Very good numbers, pretty close to 12, which is really close to 13. Magic number. Not a ton of takedown points for either of these guys. Charles Johnson gives up almost 3 points a minute in those 2 categories, takedowns and control time, but Osbourne scores a quarter of a point per minute. So this is probably going to be a stand-up fight if I had to guess. I guess we'll see. Osbourne, there's definitely, availability to take down Charles Johnson, I'm trying to say, but Osbourne's got a 14% takedown accuracy, half a takedown per 15 minutes. Nothing to really write home about. Charles Johnson actually has the harder, more difficult strength of schedule. 70s across the board almost for Charles Johnson, while Osbourne is just about 65, 66, 67 with wins over Zaruk Adeshev, CJ Vergara, and Jerome Vera. Here are my projections. DraftKings visual statistical recap. Pretty even as far as the real estate here in their winning statistics. Then the finishing percentages, very high numbers or decently high numbers as far as finishing losses. I think they're really close here, and I think Osbourne has much better DraftKings upside. I'm probably going to be rostering more of the dog here at 7,200. He's going to give me a price break because I am seriously going to play a ton of Tatiana Suarez, a ton of another 9,000 fighter that we'll talk about here. But I'm probably picking Osbourne. I think it's going to be a close fight, but I think he can get it done. I just hope Charles Johnson doesn't score a gazillion points, and then I'll be okay. Because at 7,200, I mean, Osbourne, his points per loss is not good, 6 points per loss. But he is out here getting finished. He's been TKO'd in both of his, both of his last 5, both of his losses in his last 5 fights, I should say. Johnson has won by KO in one of his fights. I believe that was to Jimmy Flick. Yeah, in his last fight, right at the end of the first round. So give me Osbourne for the hopeful and possible DraftKings upside. Plus, guys, almost a 12 value. He's coming in 1,100 under his salary. Out of the 2 fighters, he is the one that has made the optimal lineup in the past 2 years. It's only 1 out of 5 fights, but still better than 0 out of 3. Next fight, Jordan Leavitt at underdog pricing against Victor Martinez, Pusha T's favorite fighter, Vic the Brick Martinez, 8,200. I'm going to be favoring probably Victor Martinez here in his DraftKings fight. He would have scored 4.2 points per minute, 93 points in that win. Jordan Leavitt scores 3.5 a minute, 94, 95 per win. He's a bit cheaper than his average salary. This fight could be close, but I'm really thinking Martinez should be able to get the KO on Jordan Leavitt here. I know he's never been KO'd in either of his professional losses, but I really think this could. I was thinking about getting in on Jordan Leavitt because he's got the height, reach, age, weight, probably. He should be, well, he was at least as far as his last previous weigh-in, was the lighter fighter. All those trend in his direction, but man, Victor Martinez might just be too good. Plus, let's not forget, Leavitt beat Trey Ogden, which was a very close decision. Matt Sales, Matt Wyman. So lost to Paddy Pimblett, got finished by Pimblett, lost to Claudio Puelles. I'm gonna have more of Victor Martinez here. I'll probably have both sides of this fight, a little bit of Leavitt anyway, just in case, but not very much. I just don't see how I'm gonna get to a ton of him. For $200 more, I can get the newcomer who has a lot of upside. Just do your fight tape here. I hear good things about Victor's striking. So that is definitely something that Leavitt leaves himself open to a lot of the time. So I'm probably going to be picking Martinez for the upside here, hoping he gets a finish at 8,200. That's not a price I mind paying. Somebody in that mid range, it's going to help add balance to my, Ode Osbournes mixed with Tatiana Suarez. It's going to be a nice little spot there at the 8,200, 8,000 type area. So give me the favorite here, Victor Martinez. Next fight, Jasmine Jasudavicius going against Gabriela Fernandes. No Dana White Contender Series for Gabby Fernandes. She's 8-1 professionally, 5 finishes, 3 subs, 2 KO TKOs. Jasmine Jasudavicius 1-1 in the UFC. Losses to Natalia Silva and a win against Kay Hansen in her debut. She's got a decent strength of schedule, much better. Gabby Fernandes here. I actually like Jasmine Jasudavicius. I cannot say her name. In the dog spot here, 7,800. Excuse me, not a great DraftKings score. 2.55 points per minute. 85.72 is all she scores per, in her one win. Not a ton of data to back that up, but still, she's 450 under her average salary. Average takedown and control time points is almost 1 per minute, and she gives up about half a point per minute in those categories. I think this one goes to decision. I don't know much about Gabriela Fernandes. You're probably going to have to do your fight tape on this one. I'll probably pick Jasmine by decision because I've picked a lot of newcomers so far. I do like to follow trends a little bit. Percentages rather, 40, 50, 41%, like I mentioned earlier. So I will probably be picking Jasmine. I doubt every single newcomer on this card is going to win. That would be insane, literally insane. But I'm not really excited for this fight for DraftKings. Even though women's flyweight, very good weight class to target. Second best weight class as far as optimal lineup. We just had one last week make it. Not too concerned about it this week. Oh yeah, plus Suarez, I believe, is fighting at women's flyweights. That's the one I'm going to be targeting instead. So give me Jasmine probably by decision. 80, 85 points. Nothing probably that's going to land her on the optimal lineup. Next fight, newcomer coming off his Dana White Contender Series win, Trevor Peek, going against Ghost Pepper Eric Gonzalez. It's going to be real hard, real difficult for me to pick Eric Gonzalez to not only win this fight, but to do anything in DraftKings. He scores less than 2.5 points per minute, gives up to 6.5 points per minute, 104 what he's given up when he loses. Peak coming in at 8,900. Thinking 104 points would be a decent score to have. That's what he would have scored in his Dana White Contender Series fight against Malik Lewis, who he KO TKO'd in the second round. Meanwhile, Gonzalez lost his debut to Jim Miller, then lost to Terrence McKinney. Both, actually, Miller beat him in the second, McKinney in the first. Trevor Peek, though, gave up 6.8 points a minute until he finished Malik in that fight. Man, there could be a ton of points in this fight. I just don't see how I'm going to be able to back Ghost Pepper here. I'll save $100 and put in Osbourne, or I'll pay up $200, put in the $7,500 fighter who we'll talk about. But I like Peak here. Do your fight tape on this one. This guy seems to be a wild man, I kind of think. Definitely do your fight tape. 8,900 is probably a bit too much for me. I will have some of him just because I'm intrigued, especially by what Ghost Pepper gives up as far as DraftKings points per loss. So I will have some of Trevor Peek in there for sure for that reason. But I'm also interested to see what he can do against very seemingly low level talent like the Ghost Pepper Eric Gonzalez. So give me Peek for the win. Ownership, I don't know. It's going to be hard to get over the field on this one because I think I think he's going to be almost 30%. I bet you 25, 30%. It's going to be hard to get more than that. Trevor Peek this week, but we'll see what I can do with my lineups. Maybe I can make that happen if I kind of get into them. But There might be some other options around there. It's just a difficult spot this week. A decent fighter at 8,800, 9,100, but that could be a difficult spot to get to this week at 89. We'll have to just build our lineups to find out. Another difficult spot for me that I think is going to be hard for me to get to is Mike Malott at 9,200 against Johan Lainesse. I'm not interested in Lainesse at all. I'm Xing him out of my lineups. Well, that's not true. He can throw. He's got power. 6 wins out of 9 by KO TKO. He set a record, basically. He won his last fight against, I believe, Gabe Green, and he scored 39.9, or Darian Weeks, sorry. Gabe Green was his first fight. He scored 39.91 points in a win. 39 points. You get 30 just for the win. He scored 9 points during that fight. 23 strikes in 15 minutes. No knockdowns, no takedowns. 2% control time. 9 points. Come on. Short of him just chinning Mike Malott, I have zero interest in Lainesse. I'll probably play him in 10, 15, 20% tops just for the KO possibility and the extremely cheap price for that KO possibility, which I will probably regret even playing. Because Mike Malott's probably going to come out here and wrestle. If he's smart, he will just wrestle Lainesse, take him down, and then finish him on the ground with a sub. He's only beat Mickey Gall in the UFC, so I can't. I mean, Mickey Gall's awful, so I can't put any stock in that win. And now we're paying $400 more than we did against Mickey Gall, where Malott scored almost 6 points a minute and won 11.5 in that. I mean, 12.5 value is what he had there. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. He rolled through Mickey Gall and made it look so simple. Here's my projections. Obviously, not even 60 points in a win for Johan Lainesse. I'm probably going to pick Malott. Think he can, like I said, wrestle Lainesse, get a sub, and probably get a finish on the ground. But there's always the chance that Lainesse chins Malott, because Malott has been chinned in his career more than once. So you have to have a little bit. I don't know how I'm going to get more than 20-25% of Lainesse, and I'm only saying that high because he's only 7K. I mean, 39 points, guys, in a win. That should be banned from this fight. Shouldn't even be able to be rosterable DFS after a performance like that. Give me Malott. 9,200 is a bit expensive, but tread carefully with this one. I think the winner probably makes the optimal lineup, but good luck picking the winner, and you can't just go 50-50 on. So hopefully the side that you pick is correct. I really do hope that for you. Here's a fighter that I'm most expensive fighter on the card. I might have 100% per rostered. 100%. Return of Tatiana Suarez. It's been almost 4 years. I don't care. 1,354 days at this point since she's fought last. I do not care. She's beat Nina Nunes, Carla Esparza, Alexa Grasso, who's now about to fight for a title probably, Vivian Pajeda, Amanda Cooper. Esparza was a former champ. She's finished 3 out of her 5 UFC fights, I do believe. 2 by sub, 1 by KO TKO. Here's the numbers. She's 9,600. Okay, 6.11 raw DraftKings points per minute, 119 per win. She allows 1.13 points per minute. These numbers are better than Islam. They're better than Kamaru before he lost. They're better than Colby Covington. Her numbers are some of the best I've ever seen personally. Now she gets Montana De La Rosa, who's 2-2-1 in her last 5, 12-7-1 professionally. Not a good record. 2.21 points is what she gives up, only 71 per loss. I don't know how in the world she's going to stay alive against Tatiana Suarez. Suarez should easily be able to finish Rosa, easily be able to land as many takedowns as she wants until she feels like submitting Montana. I mean, Suarez, look at 3.51 points per minute in takedowns and control time. Plus, she's scoring 2.6 points per minute in striking, which is the best number on the card. Out of all fighters, 2.6 points per minute in striking is the best number on the card. So is her takedown point per minute. So is her control time points per minute. So is her defense in all those categories for them. It is ridiculous the numbers Tatiana is putting up. Her strength of schedule still to this day, even after 3 years off, plus almost 4 years, is over 70 in every category. Still fantastic. Couple of points better than Montana De La Rosa. She's going to smash Montana De La Rosa here. Guys, we're going to talk about it at the end of the video, the Monk pick of the week. I couldn't give you Tatiana Suarez. I couldn't give you the most expensive fighter on the entire slate. I might have her at 100% of my lineup. She's gonna jail Almeida on Tana De La Rosa. She could put up 100. She needs 127 to 13.3x. She might score more than that this fight. So I'm looking forward to this more than anything else probably on this entire. Give me Suarez, or give me death. Next fight, Augusto Sakai going against Dante Alves, Lord Kong. Talk about a low-level slop fest at heavyweight. Sakai 8,300, Dante Alves 7,900. Sakai has basically made himself unplayable for DraftKings. 1.91 points a minute. He's like Derek Lewis, but without the knockout upside. So what are you left with? Absolutely nothing. 66.58 points is what he scored in his last win. In his career, it's averaging 87.29, 2.33 points a minute. We're not interested in that in heavyweight. He gives up 3.85 points a minute in his last 5 fights. 111 is what he's averaging. His opponents are averaging per his loss. Incredible number there. Dante Alves at 7,900 wins this fight and scores 111. He's making the optimal lineup. Sakai's also 520 over his average salary. We're not interested in that at all. He's put up, let's see, in his 4 wins, 2 of them have gone over 90, 1 of them over 100. That's it. Does not score any takedown to control time points in his UFC career. And on average, he's in his last 5, 1.5 points per minute. What people are scoring on him in takedown to control time. Meanwhile, Dante Alves is averaging just about 1 point a minute in those 2 categories, 1.6 points a minute in striking, almost 96 per win, and he also humped a guy to death. He humped Josh Parisian to death. Josh Parisian won a fight since then? I'll wait. He humped him to death. He also lost to Hamdi Abdelwahab, but that fight's now been changed to a no contest because Hamdi was in some top quality steroids over there, whatever they got. Mays also has probably about the better strength of schedule, but that's mostly because of Cyril Gane and Rodrigo Nascimento. He also fought Roque Martinez as well, who is just an awful record. Sakai losing to Spivak, Tuivasa, Rosenstruik, and Alistair Overeem. Guys, I'm going to have a hard time picking against Dante Alves here for DraftKings. For DraftKings, he has the extreme upside. I mean, compared to his upside is average at best, but compared to Sakai, it is extremely good. So I'm going to probably be fading Sakai. Could he's just, man, he's big, he's unathletic, he doesn't score well. I don't know what I like about Sakai here. He's a 6'6". He's going to be about the same weight. His reach is 4 inches longer, more athletic, and he humped a man to death, guys. Give me Dante Alves at the dog salary. I don't like either guy for cash. I'll have more Mays than Sakai and GP. I can't believe we're getting the better DraftKings upside at dog salary. 7,900 salary is a fantastic one to play for DraftKings. 31, almost 32% optimal overall. So get on Dante Alves. That's probably what I'm going to do this week. He will be one of my higher owned underdogs, in my opinion. I mean, I just can't. What is Sakai going to do here? Sort of bonking Mays in the first round, which he hasn't done like ever. Next fight, co-main event, penultimate fight of the evening. Andre Muniz going against Brendan All-In Allen. I hear a lot of people on both sides of this fight, guys. I'm personally on the Muniz side. He's 5-0 in the UFC, 3.7 points per minute, 95.5 per win. He is 860 over his average salary, but his average value is over 12, which is what I am looking for. 12 to 13. That's what I would like to see from my optimal fighters. Brendan Allen, 3.13 points a minute, 88 per win is a bit low for me. He does gave up 106 in his one UFC loss over his last 5. But put that mixed with his other fight, he's given up 117 on average in his UFC career. Muniz has the better upside, in my opinion. I think he can land takedown after takedown. He's something like 4.14 takedowns per 15 minutes. It's absolutely insane. Scores over 2.2 points per minute in those 2 categories, takedowns and control time. Meanwhile, Allen is giving up 1.1 points per minute in those 2 categories. I think Allen is a fantastic grappler, but I think Muniz is better. Yes, I am extremely worried about the cardio of Muniz, the gas tank. But if he worked on that at all lately, I don't see how he loses to Brendan Allen. Allen's going to make a mistake at some point, and Muniz is not the man you want to make mistakes against, as he will capitalize on that 9 times out of 10. Some submission. Strength of schedule is much better for Allen, 3 to 4 to 5 points better across the board. But Muniz, man, he's got a powerful takedowns. Um, I just like him a lot more in this fight. Be completely honest, Brendan Allen is a tremendous value. 10.9 points per win at 7,100. You bet your bottom dollar I will have some Brendan Allen in my line. But Muniz, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, but he's going to be one of my highest owned fighters across the board. At 9,100, I just love the spot here. I think he can get it done. I think he can finish Brendan Allen first round, late first round, or second round. I think he has the potential to score a ton of takedowns and a ton of control time. Brendan Allen, let's see, fought 53% of the time inside the distance, only controlled 48% of that grappling time. He gets out controlled on average, and now he's fighting a guy with some of the best control in the entire division. Controls 69% of the grappling time, and he spends 69% of his fights grappling. So I don't see, I think Brendan Allen, like I said, he's going to make a mistake. Really like Andre Muniz here. I love the DraftKings upside. 9,100. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pair him with Tatiana Suarez, but I might be able to find a few lineups. So there's a couple of dogs that I like here. Ode Osbourne, maybe Ryan Spann at 7,500, maybe some Don'Tale Mayes. I can make this work. 96 plus 91. Better believe I will have some Suarez and Muniz lineups out there. I'm just ready to be, waiting and ready to have a submission win and to start smashing some of these other. I love Muniz here. I don't mind him for cash either, but I love him for GP. Next fight, guys. This is going to be a barn burner for as long as it lasts. Nikita Krylov headlining fight against Ryan Superman Spann. Apparently, Ryan Spann just started training before his last fight, so I am very interested in the Spann side. 7,500 here. DraftKings upside is some of the best on the card. Both these guys, actually. You have to target this fight. Spann scores 6.39 points per minute. Last five, 6.39. He gives up 6.09. However, which is also probably a record. Scores 100.67 per win, giving up 113.67 per loss. Average value per win is 13.67. Fantastic. And he's only $80 more than his average salary. He's made optimal lineup in 3 out of his past 4 fights, guys. What do we say? Optimal fighters fight optimally. Here's Ryan Spann, 3 out of 4 fights on the optimal lineup. He's going against Nikita Krylov, who's had one hell of a run lately. $8,700, 5 points per minute, 117, almost 118 per win. Guys, average value per win is 14 and a half. 14 and a half. He is 620 over average salary. Who are his wins against? Volkan and Alexander Gustafsson, both guys who he scored a shitload of points on those guys. Then Johnny Walker a few fights before that did lose to Aliev, and then Paul Craig. He put himself into submission against Paul Craig. Terrible fight IQ, as Craig has looked pretty horrendous ever since that fight, to be completely honest. And I'm a Craig fan. Krylov over 2 points per minute in takedowns and control time, while Spann is 1.3 points per minute in those categories. Both guys giving up a ton and scoring a ton, basically everywhere. The first round finishes on this fight are ridiculous. Just in the UFC alone, 5 first round finishes, 10 UFC wins for Krylov. 4 first round finishes at 7 UFC wins. So that's 9 out of 17. Over 50% of their wins come in the very first round. You have to roster this fight, guys. You absolutely have to roster it. 87 and 75, not too expensive. Either one, obviously, you can get to both sides. I'll probably be close to 100%, if not 100% of this fight. Krylov has also made optimal lineup in 2 out of his past 4 fights. Here are my projections. 151 in a decision for Krylov, 127 for Spann. I mean, numbers are off charts, almost quite literally. I'm I'm gonna go with Spann though. If he's still training, if he didn't give up on the whole training thing that he's apparently tried for the first time, I love the upside of Spann here, especially the DraftKings upside. I also really love the Krylov upside as well, but getting a tremendous discount. Well, not on average, but 87 versus 75, and I think they probably have close to the same ceiling. I mean, Krylov's is probably a bit higher, which is why you're paying a premium, but I think they have close to the same ceiling, to be completely honest. That means I'll have more Spann. I will Krylov 60-40, 70-30, something like that. Not too much lower than that. So, guys, that is going to do it. We've gone through all 13 fights. Let's finish up the video checking out Computer Monk's picks. CM Monk's picks for UFC Vegas 70. How did we do last week, guys? CM Monk went 8-3, picked a couple of dogs, got the Blanchfield right, got Jamal Emmers right as well. On the year, 40 out of 59 for a 67.8 win percentage. Me personally, I did not do as well as CM Monk, 6-5, and I am 64.5%. Here you can't see that, but now you can. This box right here. Those were my picks. Not looking good. I picked Knight, Parisian. Yikes. Double, triple, yikes. This week, CM Monk's picks, UFC Vegas 70. We're starting off with an underdog pick. Jose Johnson, love the pick. Haley Cowan, no idea. Rulo Aliev, love the pick. Joe Solecki by decision. Charles Johnson by finish. Jordan Leavitt by finish. Very interesting. Husband Jasudavicius by decision. Trevor Peak by finish. Mike Malott by finish. Tatiana Suarez by decision. If she goes to decision, she might score 175 points. Huntail Mays by finish. Andre Muniz by finish. And Nikita Krylov by finish. Love it. I have not done my picks yet. Let's give some real quick. They'll probably change. I'm going Johnson. I'm going Cowan. I'm going Aliev. I'm going Solecki. Osbourne. Martinez. Jasudavicius. Peak. Malott. Suarez. Mays. Muniz. Spann. Those probably are not going to change, actually. I love those picks. That's what we are going with. Last but not least, guys, before we get out of here, last week's Monk pick of the week, most owned, no nonsense pick of the week, came through with flying colors. It was Erin Blanchfield. She rolled. She scored, I don't even know how many points. Let's look. She scored 97.69 at 7,700 salary, giving her a 12.69 average value, and she did indeed make the optimal lineup for the fourth time. She's now one of 7 fighters since 2021 who have made optimal lineup 4 times. Optimal fighters fight optimally, guys. We cashed in on the dog pick, most owned, no nonsense pick of the week, Erin Blanchfield. This week, UFC Vegas 70. Who is gonna be most owned, no nonsense pick of the week? The Monk pick of the week. It's gonna be Andre Muniz, guys. I honestly, my most owned is gonna be Tatiana Suarez, but I can't sit here and give you the highest salaried fighter as my most owned. That's just a cheat move. I was then gonna give you Ryan Spann, another dog pick, but I couldn't decide who was going to get finished in that fight, and I didn't want to give you Krylov either for the same reason. So we're going to go with Andre Muniz, $9,100. He's second or third, fourth most expensive fighter, something like that, on the roster this week. I think you can get to a lot of him, and I think he beats Brendan Allen early. I think he has the potential to finish him and land a ton takedowns and control time, maybe some ground and pound, get that sub finish, score somewhere over 100 points, guys. 100-point fighters make optimal lineup over 8% of the time. Give me a ton of Andre Muniz, and he is the most owned, no nonsense pick of the week. Monk pick of the week this week, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. One more time, check out dfsarmy.com. Use code Monk. Save yourself some money on a VIP package. And I hope you guys, love the fights this week. We get to see Tatiana Suarez, a couple more fighters, tons of newcomers that I'm very interested in checking out. So, as usual, guys, I want all of you to enjoy the fights. So, enjoy. We will see you in the next one.